What is going on, guys? So today we finally made it out to the Indiana Dunes here. We're going to be taking the little SCX 24s out here and comparing the big off-road mudslingers to some RC four-wheel drive all-terrains, and then of course to the tracks. So right now we're going to start off, we're at the top of this dune here. We're going to just play around and see which one can take the steepest incline and how the tires do compared to one another. Alrighty guys, we're going to start with the dually C10 here, and we're going to see how it does with the extra wheels on the rear in the sand. So far so good on the flat sand. You can see it's starting to sink in there. Now let's turn around and see if we can get back up that. There is a slight incline on that path here, and I'm just curious to see how it handles it. So let's see. We got some wheel spin. Looks like we might be hung up on a weed here. Let's get that clear. Reset. Now that all the weeds are clear, let's see what happens. So you can see it's making it, but not perfectly. Back it up and try to get around that weed maybe. There you go. It's going, guys. It's going. There we go. Turn into it. Keep going. Let's see if you can make it. Those extra rear tires are certainly helping digging through the sand here. Alrighty, so. Oh, ran into something there. There we go. Got it back up to the starting point. Performed pretty well. It didn't get stuck. It had a couple issues, but nothing too crazy. So let's move on to the mudslingers. Alrighty guys, so next up we have the rock bouncer with the 1.0 mudslingers on it. This is the first time you're actually seeing these wheels too. This is a recent wheel design I did. I wanted something 3D printed on this almost fully 3D printed truck, so made those wheels. But yeah, we're going to see how the mudslingers do against the 1.0 dirt grabber dualies on the C10 that we just watched, so let's give it a shot. Seems like it's got no issues crawling up through this. Definitely not downhill, and there's a slight slope downhill here. The weeds will tie these things up, but as long as you steer well enough clear, you'll be okay. So now we're going to turn around over here, try not to get tangled in too many weeds. And bringing it back up here, these tires are performing excellent. I don't think I could get this thing stuck on these inclines if I wanted to. I think they act as almost like a paddle tire, but as you can see, it's got no problem doing that route. So both trucks made that route. We'll run the tracks on that here in a second and then get something a little more extreme to test them out. Alrighty guys, now we're going to take the Jeep on the tracks through this first little test section. I can't imagine we're going to have any issues on that, but let's find out. Crawling right over all this, as long as we don't get tangled up in a stick or any weeds, I think we're going to be okay. That was the downhill portion. Let's get it turned around, send it uphill and see what happens. We are crawling right up that with no issues. If you're running these things in sand, tracks are certainly a must. Alrighty guys, so you saw that first path up there. And now we're going to switch it over here to this much steeper path going up this little ridge here. I don't know if the dually or the rock bouncer are going to make it, but let's take a look here and see what happens. We're going to start with the dually and move from there. So gonna have to be nice and careful to not dig right in immediately. I don't know if high wheel speed or low wheel speed is better for this, but we'll try our best to find out here. There we go. It's moving slowly but surely. We are moving up here. You can see it's kind of just pushing the sand out of the way and inching its way up here. See how far we can make it. That's really amazing. It's still pushing, guys, very slowly, but it's still moving. The back end of it is getting buried though. That may be all she wrote. I'd say that's pretty stuck there. It's not moving anymore, so we're gonna call that our first mark. All right, here we go. Let's give it a shot with the bouncer again now that we moved the dually out of the way. We're inching up slowly but surely, just trying not to sink right now. So far so good. We know it'll get past the dually's previous best mark, but can it make it all the way? The sand is really putting some strain there, and I hope we don't cook a motor, but we will find out. We're going. We are making it. Let's see if we can go all the way here. Got caught up in a weed. And look at that, guys. The mud slingers did make it to the top all on their own. So that would be about the maximum that the slingers can handle in sand. I think it was a pretty aggressive test, but now we'll try the tracks and see how they perform. Alrighty, let's take a look here. I'm really hoping, I'm thinking that these are going to perform great in the sand dunes here. So let's give it a shot. Now these tracks technically have a slower wheel speed or track speed, whatever you want to call it, but as you can see, they're just eating this up. No problems whatsoever crawling right up that. Again, if you guys run these things on sand or in the snow, having a set of tracks like this or something unique is a must. But you can see with absolutely no struggle, that just crawled right up. So let's find something steeper for that and test it out to its full extremes. Alrighty guys, we have a new test for the tracks, and I'm just going to show you how steep this really is here. So I got the mud slingers over here on the bouncer, and I'm just going to start driving, and you can see pretty much immediately it's getting buried. It is not going to climb up that. There's not a chance. It's just sliding down. Even if you try to traverse across, it's just going to keep kind of sidewinding and sliding down there. So let's give it a shot with the tracks. Here we go. And look at that. So we're still doing a bit of sidewinding, but we've got some bounce going, but we are climbing up. Right up and over those humps. And let's see if we can make it to the top of this dune here. And look at that, guys. Right up and over. These things really do perform amazing. Awesome scale experience too for the sand. You know, you want to get out to the beach with the family or with friends and run the 24s. These tracks really handle it amazing. I'm super happy with how they're performing. See how descending goes. Oh, ran into the bouncer. Not really having any issues descending, doing a bit of sliding, but again, super happy with how these are performing. Alrighty guys, so we've done our testing. Now we're just gonna do some glamour shots for you, run these things down the dunes a bit and make a few videos here. So here you go. Come up closer to me. There we go. I don't think we're going to conquer too much more of this dune, but again, guys, I hope you enjoyed the content here, the driving around, the testing of different tires, and hope to see you next time.